That time of year again. They stocking trout. I already did a video on skinning trout. So now I'm gonna show y'all how to do it with the skin on. Take a knife, take your trout. It's pretty cold when they did. So now we're gonna scrape the scales off. And you wanna scrape trout kind of hard because
no,
it's cool. They scales, it's kind of hard to tell when their scales coming off. You gotta scrape pretty hard. You can barely see that, but them scales are real light. But I'll show you how to tell that the scale's coming off in just a second. Well, you can kind of already tell. It'll have like a different color, and you can kind of feel it with your fingers. Now, I like to skin my trout only because, well, I actually don't like to skin my trout. I like to skin on. That's where all the nutrients at, and all the stuff that's good for you. But the quicker way is to just take the skin off. But you can go look at my other videos and you can see that. Because we cleaning way more trout than you see here. And you get done a whole lot quicker. But if you want all your nutrients and you want to keep the skin on, you like skin, you like it crisp when you cook your trout, whether it's baking, pan searing, or frying, the skin will be crispy. It's more tasty to me anyway. More tasty and more healthy, so skin on, more tasty, more healthy, skin off, more fast and quicker. You can see all this milk coming out of them, so this is a male.
I wouldn't look like a brook trout.
Yeah, dude on it. Small brown trout. Stay in St. Louis, Missouri, so these fish are not native to us. They just stock them in during the cold season, the winter season. And this, you probably see me scraping the same parts a couple times. I'm just making sure I got all the scales off. But like I said, it's hard to tell that you're getting these tiny scales off. But you could probably kind of tell now that it's pretty much scaled pretty good. I just like to make sure. In every nook and cranny where a scale could be. And you can kind of hear that I'm scraping it good. Kind of sound like you brushing some beans. If you got beanie weenies on your head, you know what I'm talking about. Your parents ever took a comb before you went to school? Or a brush, a hard brush, and brushed that little head of yours? For those that don't know, beans are naps. Nappy head. Got the little nappy head. Not to say that people with beans got bad genes. But we are unique and beautiful in our own way. Make them beans work. Yeah. Oh, he got string in his mouth. Show them.
It's power, babe. This ain't one that.
All right, he's scared.
This one
pretty
the ones
good.
that. This one the ones that white dude lost. That's what he was using.
And this trout is definitely scaled good. You can kind of see his.
So you got a hook in him.
He a whole different color. Now we go look at this one. You see how he's silky smooth. He still got his scales on. This is a rainbow trout. He's dead, so he look like that. Look like Rick and Morty set in, or Fish and Mortis. Let's set in. When I get through scraping him, I'm gonna show you. And those scales came off pretty good. But I'm a stickler for clean fish. I sell fish, I give fish away to the hungry and needy. I also got a YouTube channel for dogs, bullies and American bullies and English bull terriers. If you want to go check that out. And I also got a music channel on YouTube. Chosen Sheep Kennels for the dogs and Chosen Sheep for the music. Get this cracking. Get it cracking. And this is a sharp knife, but a sharp knife and a fish that's easy to cut through. So that should tell you I'm pretty good at what I do, because I'm doing this without cutting the fish.
I know usually trout real soft. This trout firm.
They got some nice skin on them. Almost like catfish skin.
Look at that. You can almost separate it.
Straight pull that straight off with your hand.
Mm-hmm.
I think the next step is to cook some trout for y'all. Show y'all how to make it tasty and delicious. Delicioso. This salmon without it being a salmon.
Get them without having to smell it.
You probably could see that this fish looked pretty scared. Pretty good and scaled. It looked like a different fish with a different skin on it. I mean, I did a good job getting these scales off. Wipe the scales on the table. We're on the newspaper. And get at it again. So we want to make sure we got all the scales off. And go look at my other video. Like I said, you will see that skinning it is way faster. I would probably already be done with all these fish if I skinned it like a catfish. And I'm not going to show you how to do that when you could just go look at my other video, because I want my skin on my fish. I want all the nutrients. Soak it in warm salt and water, warm water and salt. iodized salt. In a good 30 minutes, you'll be able to tell all the slime come off the fish that's naturally come on every fish. Even the ones you get out the stove. So I don't want to hear none of that for people that eat fish out the stove. It's actually the most healthiest you can get.
It's more healthier when you catch it yourself.
Mm-hmm. You don't know what they doing to your fish in the store.
That fish probably was dead 2 years ago.
I like to know what my fish been through. And it was cleaned properly. I'm gonna get the guts out in just a second. Just a second. Alright, I think that fish is scaled, overly scaled. Pretty good. Pretty good. We ain't getting no scales on the knife. None whatsoever. But I'm a stickler. Stickler for clean fish. I'm gonna take y'all fishing with me next time. Let y'all see me catch these fish. I really ain't been posting like I supposed to. Like I think I should.
Whoever caught that trout, he left it to die, to be for real.
I think he broke his line. Oh, that's old dude stuff. That old dude when we first got there.
Mm-hmm.
Who lost that fish. Broke his line. He literally pulled out that same jig. I guess they do like it, like he said. Should show probably do that.
Oh, you gonna keep that?
He gonna say the same thing. That's the jig that old dude had. I wonder, is that the exact same one he just lost?
That's what he had, pick and what?
Mm-hmm. Either way it go, he had to catch him within the time they just put him
I
in.
was about to say, he either lost more than one fish, or they passed him the jig around.
I don't know if my camera just paused or what. My battery going low, so I'm gonna try to do this quick. Good thing we passed the slow stuff, so it can go quick now. All right, this knife is a little dull. But you want to cut an incision right here behind the anal and right in front of the anal. And after you do that, take your knife right in front of the anal, like I pointed out. I don't know if you can see it. And then you want to run it up. But you want to stay close. You don't want to dig inside the guts. You want to stay close to the skin, close as you can without grabbing any guts. Run it up to the head. It's for people who leaving the head on, like me. I probably take it off before I cook it. I probably still leave it on, depending on how I'm feeling, what I want to do. And you want to come on out the mouth like that, the bottom jaw. Then you want to take it, spread it. Oh, that's a female right here. We got caviar. We got caviar. I'm gonna take the little guts out. I'm gonna take the eggs out first. The caviar. The baby fishies. Take them on out. They wouldn't go hatch anyways. Well, they probably would have hatched, but we only got winter for so long in St. Louis, Missouri, so it ain't like they was gonna live for generations and all that. They was gonna die when spring came. So to move on, clean all the guts out. Take the gills out, which will help them breathe underwater. Just rip them on out. And then you got the bloodline in there. As you can see, that red line in there, you see? That's what you call the bloodline. Take your knife, run it on both sides, the bloodline. If it was sharper, it'll just be one little run to the back, but run it on both sides. And then you scrape it on out. 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 You know, scrape it on out. And then, for the most part, you got a clean fish. But when I soak it in the warm water and salt, I'll be able to get all the rest of that out. But really, only thing left is blood clots and bloodline. Well, the bloodline gone, but pieces of the bloodline. Make cuts on both sides of the angle so you can just scoop it on out like that. And you got a fish ready to go. You can crop the tail. You can snatch the head off like this if you want. Cut it off however you want to do it, but that's a clean fish for you. All right, we just did a rainbow trout. Now we're going to do a brown trout. And you can tell the difference between a rainbow and brown because this one looks like a salmon. How I got that hook right there. The rainbow don't got the hook. The rainbow got just a regular looking mouth. Hook, regular mouth, hook, regular mouth. Rainbow brown, rainbow brown. You can tell between the colors too, but on the camera I don't think it's gonna show up that good. Let me go ahead and finish knocking these fish off. This one's a male because the milk is coming out. There's some you can't stop because they spawning. They're spawning. Spawning is basically breeding. For people that don't know what spawning is. That's fish language for breeding. Go check my music out, Chosen Sheep. And go check out the kennel at Chosen Sheep Kennels. Got Chosen Sheep Fishing, Chosen Sheep Music, and you got Chosen Sheep Kennels. Doing numbers out, y'all. This is where the milk is coming from. Snatched it on up out of there. I'm actually doing it backwards. You really want to take that out before you take all the guts out. It'll be a whole lot easier, but I'm gonna do it on this next one. And I'm gonna show you what to do with the head if you want to keep the head on your fish. It's a way to clean the head too.
You take an 8-eye circle hook and you put the head on there.
Alrighty then. Okay, baby. I'm talking about. Look at that brown trout.
I cut my finger.
That bloodline up out of there. All right. I can show you on this fish, actually, if you want to keep the head on. Inside the head, this is how you clean the head. You got this thing, this skin right here, on the roof of their mouth. When your fish eat food, all the food is touching that. So you might not want to cook that. You take your finger, your thumb, and you get up under there. I'll show you with the knife real quick. You get up under that skin, and you pull it upwards, and it rips out of there. Want to get all of that out of there. You don't want to eat the same thing that your fish was eating. Worms or the lure stuff from the lure, whatever they had their mouth on, you don't want your mouth on. You take it. They usually come up out of there, but trout is a little bit harder. If you had a pair of skinners or something like that, it'd be easier to grab. Usually on bluegill and bass and stuff like that, it comes straight up out of there. Now, please don't leave that in your fish head and leave your fish head on there while you're cooking it. Now all the little skin up out of that roof of their mouth that you see, and then you should be able to see the eyeballs from the inside, the back of the eyeballs. That's how you know you got it up out of there. You would know you got it up out of there, but that's a sure way to know you got it up out of there. 2 rainbows left.
No greater sin.
All right, cut around the angle. Stay close to the skin. Cut on up. Drag your knife on up through there. MDC is stocking the trout, you guys. Go catch them. I see this one is a female. We got the eggs busting. So we ain't got to deal with no milk. No milky milk. At the caviar. I still did it backwards. Supposed to pull the anal out of there first. And this is why. When you pull it, the intestinal and everything that's attached to it comes straight up out of there, and it's just a lot smoother to take out everything else. And the roof of the mouth actually came out with those guts this time, so that was just beautiful. And that's why you want to take that out first. Just make your job a whole lot more easy. Cut on both sides of the bloodline. Really ain't gotta cut it, but I just do because it make it a lot easier. And you scrape it on out. Scrape it on out. Scrape it on out. Scrape it on out. You scrape it on out. You scrape it on out. Scrape it on out. Scrape it on out. You did. You know what I'm talking about? You know what I'm talking about? But you can critique it after you soak it in that warm water and salt. You critique all this stuff that you don't want in there. 9 times out of 10, they leaving most of that in there on your fish, and they not sanitizing it. They leave that up to you to do. But then again, you never know how they cleanse your fish, or where your fish came from, or where it's going, or where, what it done been through. You could say ill all day, but I know what my fish been, where it came from, who cleaned it. Whether or not if it was sanitized before it was frozen. And that's something to say ill about. You freezing germs. That's just disgusting. That's like leaving guts in a fish and cleaning it another day. Leaving guts in your fish, freezing it to take it out and clean it another day. I can't do that. I can't do that. Not to knock nobody. You know what I'm saying? To each his own. But I can't do that. If I'm not going to clean it, I'll throw it back. Or I'll give it away to somebody I know that's going to cherish the fish. They're going to love the fish. Or they gonna do it how they wanna do it. All right, before I take the guts out and get the anal, and we're going to pull it. The skin make it pretty tough to pull. But it's a male. You see the white stuff in there? The white sack? Yes, sir. Get that up out of there. Get it up out of there. You heard me? Cut the bloodline, baby. Something about cleaning your fish the long way makes it taste better or something. Not to say that it was scientifically proven for you sticklers, but get this skin out this head and we done. Show y'all how to cook this with them lemons on it. With the lemon. Yeah, we looking good, baby. We looking good, baby. We out. Ain't get no blood on my phone.